LFC Daytrippers, brought to you by bookmakers.com.
Good evening and welcome to the LFC Daytrippers. This is the Fatback 4, brought to you by bookmakers.com. I'm Gav, that's Emmet, that's Keith, and that is Seany. On tonight's show, we're going to talk about Liverpool 0, Chelsea 0. We're going to talk about Jurgen Klopp's 1,000 game as a manager. We're going to look at the last 10 days of the transfer window, and we're going to talk about what's to come at the rest of the week. Check out bookmakers.com in our description for our website. If you're into gambling, great, check it out, do so responsibly. If you're not, go in there, you can check on stats, comparisons, all that sort of stuff. And the YouTube channel is in the description as well, which means if you subscribe there, you'll see my head on there once a week, chatting Premier League with a Man United fan and a Spurs fan. So, were they both beaten this weekend? I can't even remember. Yeah, they were. So they won't be in great form when it comes to recording that, just to give you a heads up. But I'll be in slightly better form. As I said, loads to get through tonight. If you're in the chat, leave a comment in there. We'll read it out as much as we can. Hit the like button if you can. And yeah, we go from there. Seany, how are you?
Good.
Good form?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm in good form. That game was a good tonic today for the shite we were saved up yesterday.
Yeah.
So the Blackbuster game today acted as a tonic. Yeah. I thought it was funny though, the way all the Arsenal fans are doing this like little circle jerk thing about this being the real Premier League rivalry.
Yeah,
I thought that was funny, but it was a good game of football. I was a little bit jealous watching it, not because I think either of them in the league. It's just I remember when we played with that sort of intensity and guile. So yeah, I enjoyed the game though.
Yeah, it was a good game of football. I only seen highlights of it. I'm going to be honest, because I've seen no football live today. But it looked like a really good game, and Arsenal just need to keep going, because City will come at one stage. So Arsenal just need to keep going, and I really hope they do. Arsenal for life says, I hope you enjoyed us beating United. We always enjoy watching them United getting beaten under any circumstances. Always. But no, Arsenal, look, they need to just keep going, because they can go 8 points clear again, but genuinely City could just win every game from here on in. That's just the way they are. It's just, we've seen it so many times. Keith, how are you?
I'm grand. Yeah, grand. Yeah, Jake Simmons that makes a good point there. We're all in black. We're like a boy band tonight.
I'm actually in navy, so
sure that Emma, you're in black.
Down to Specsavers.
You're ruining the illusion. Now look, it's a good weekend sports-wise, not necessarily Liverpool, NFL, all that sort of stuff going on, and boxing and things like that. So it was a good weekend. It's just a pity Liverpool at the moment. You know, we're not getting what we like, what we're used to. But at the end of the day, you just have to blade and suck this up until this patch of shite gets goes past, which I'm sure it will at some stage. But you know, it's hard at the moment. Used to love doing these shows. Used to be great crack.
Now, fucking
hell. Oh, trying to get out of this one sick and all today.
Yeah, you're trying your best, but I just wasn't answering you. No matter how many hints you dropped.
I wasn't. Tried my best.
No,
tried everything.
There's 14 people in me gaff fucking sick here. And I'm like, I don't give a bollocks. I'll see you at 10. Emma, how are you?
Yeah, good. Same as Keith. It's unfortunate that your weekends are only brightened up now by Everton being in the relegation zone, United getting beaten, and Eubank getting smashed. We used to be all happy about Liverpool winning. I should have actually started doing these podcasts more often. Maybe I'm the Jonah.
Didn't want to say
it. Getting shite with it.
Didn't want to
Seany's
say
been saying it ages, but listen, as soon as you brought it up. Look, Red Steve says Emmet is the Navy sheep of the family. Great show. MC says, evening Gav, I have something. I'm starting to bottle buttering my bread. Oh my God, no, I'm not getting into buttering bread.
You got in his head.
Yeah, yeah, it's happened. It's spreading. That's not. But listen, let's talk about Liverpool 0, Chelsea 0. And again, if you want like instant reaction to it and all, and a really good take on it, I think it was Matt and Kev yesterday, wasn't it?
It was excellent.
Yeah, Matt and Kev done the post-match show. They stay on for close to an hour. They go through everything in the game. You agree with some of it, you don't agree with some of it, but they watch the game, they have their takes, and they've done a really good job, as always. So we kind of look at it as a bigger picture of the game when it comes to Sunday night, and we've loads to get through. So, Shawnee, it's a 0-0 draw. You know, we can look at team lineups and stuff, but the big thing to come out for me was Klopp saying afterwards, little steps, you know, and then he says, you know, this is a little step, keeping a clean sheet. Do you buy that? Because that sounds to me, if it's completely genuine, that this team is on its arse, and he's starting to admit it, and he's nowhere to go to try. Not that he's nowhere to go to drum her up, but it's a case of, listen, that's where we're at right now. What did you make of that?
Well, it's probably an answer I would have accepted if that was a performance we put in against a top of the table Arsenal at the moment. Yeah. But it's against a Chelsea side who I'm not actually sure, because I think they might be still below us in the table. I don't know whether
just below us,
yeah. So they've been as equally, as if not worse than we have. So it's like, I don't think it was a big step, especially not at home at Anfield.
No, he said a little step. He said a little step.
It should be. It's not any step, because you should be imposing yourself at Anfield against everyone. Never mind sides who have been struggling. Chelsea have really, really struggled to score goals, and then they brought your man Mudryk on, and they look like the team in the ascendancy. Klopp's annoying me a little bit as well. I thought if I'm being honest about it, I thought his comment about Arsene Wenger as well was a bit of a wanker thing to say as well. I didn't like it at all. When I seen he said it, I said, I'm gonna actually have to check to see if he said it, and he did, and I was like, yeah, that's a fucking stupid thing to say. So yeah, I'm not Klopp out, but he's pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie to you, genuinely. Like, it's starting to grate on me now. Like, he talks about he's gone on like these problems haven't been there, and now it's a little sulk and a whinge. And then the thing about Wenger yesterday, it's not like him at all. And we are on our arse, because fucking 9 out of 10 of our players are out of form and completely afraid of their lives yesterday. 12:30 kickoffs at Anfield have been shy, even when we're romping leagues or whatever. They always seem to never really an atmosphere. I've been to a couple of them as well, and the atmosphere seems a bit drab. And it seemed that way yesterday. There was no life in the game. Did you find
a lot of nervousness in the game from both sides and probably the crowd as well?
Yeah. It was kind of like, do you ever get when you get to you've been playing well all season, and you get to the big games in the cup semi-finals, and that cage, nobody wants to make mistakes. It's normally keep ball and high quality stuff and chance to be carved out, but both teams are fucking terrible yesterday. I never seen it so loose in possession. I think if anyone had any sort of composure, they probably could have won the game. People are asking what you said in the chat. Klopp said something about 1,000 game. He goes, yeah, well, look, Arsene Wenger lost his 1,000 game 6-0. I'm glad that didn't happen today. He's like, got fucking nothing got to do with that. Just stupid, like, you know what I mean?
I don't think he meant it in a snidey way.
Yeah, why did he even say
dragged over it? I think he meant it as a jokey thing, because I think he does have a lot of respect for Wenger, and I think it just came across wrong.
I think it was.
And I think when you're in the scuttle like he is at the moment, I think everything is coming across bad. You know what I mean?
Klopp's annoying me now, and he's as much to blame now as anyone else, in my opinion.
100%.
Again, I trust him to pull us out of it, 100%. I wouldn't want anyone else, but I don't know. I think he probably needs to take stock. Gav, I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of fear what I said a couple of weeks on the podcast is I wanted to be wrong, but I don't actually think I am. It looks like we just fucking dialed it in this season. It's poxy, and I don't see it changing because we don't have the personnel, and it doesn't look like they're going to sign anyone. So I don't know where the change comes from. I don't know where this jolt that this team needs. It is where it is.
Keith, people are talking about the atmosphere yesterday, and the atmosphere hasn't been great for a while, and half 12 games, it's very hard at half 12 games. I think I've been to a couple of them as well, and you get in there and it's a bit like it's a bit too early for this, do you know what I mean? And now don't get me wrong, there's loads of places in Liverpool you can get a gargle at 9 in the morning, so you can be well oiled before you go in, and I know all of them, do you know what I mean? Because I usually arrive in Liverpool about 8:30 every time I get there. But like, when I looked at that game yesterday, right, part of me thought he's trying to make a point here, right? He's trying to make a point in some way, maybe to players, maybe to owners, I'm not too sure. But it kind of came off as, don't get me wrong, I think the team he picks deserve to be there off the back of Wolves. He makes one change, I think. And it deserved to be there. But I kind of felt that, yes, it's disjointed. But I kind of got the impression, is he trying to make a point to someone here? Because, like Henderson, right? People like him, people don't like him. He can play a certain amount of games in a certain amount of days. That's absolutely fine. Fabinho, right, comes off the bench, I think, against Wolves. So does, I think Henderson does as well, does he? But not in the team. Now, I get, that midfield made a good fist of things during the week. But it usually goes back to, I'll put them back in. They've had their rest and stuff. Did you get that feeling off it? Because I had no problem with the team, but I was surprised at one change. I thought he was going to make a couple. I thought he was going to. It feels to me like he's making points to maybe players more than anyone else at the minute.
I'd say more players than owners, to be honest. I think Klopp more or less knows what the score is with owners as far as transfers, and I think if he pushes at this stage, he'll end up with Sander Berge, and whether he wants him or not, I don't know. But it's interesting, after the Wolves game, I think we all said, maybe on shows, maybe in private, we were all saying, at least that midfield was running, at least that midfield was trying. You can say what you want about Naby Keita, and look, we've all been critical of Naby Keita. We've all sort of agreed that he's a great player, a wonderful player when he's playing and he's in rhythm and he's in form, but he's just unreliable. And he gave them a bit of impetus, who was it he played there? And he came on, Keita, and he was running forward. Now, he couldn't pass the ball for sure. Every pass went to the other team, but he was driving forward and he was giving them that. So carrying that midfield into this game, I wasn't too surprised. He seems to have a lot of faith in Bajcetic, and I'm glad he done that, because I think Fabinho's in serious trouble at Liverpool. I think he's one that Klopp is probably looking at and saying, you think I'm too loyal, I'm going to be wielding axes and all that, because regularly balls him out at the side of the pitch. Regularly. Chills the fuck out of him.
We've seen a couple of times this season, well, I've noticed a couple of times this season where he has shouted at Fabinho, and Fabinho's nearly shouted back at him, or just pretended he can't hear him. The sort of way. And people are saying, I think it was Kev said, Henderson was carrying a back injury and stuff like that, and Trent, fine. But Trent comes on. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Henderson comes on. Like, all I'm saying is, usually, and we like to see that change where they were good, they're staying on the pitch. But Fabinho comes on during the week. Now, Shawnee said it, when Fabinho comes on during the week, he's trying to kick the ball as high as he can for about 15 minutes, right? But what I'm saying is, usually what he does is he says, you're out with this one, they're in, they've played well, but he doesn't give a fuck. He's going to put this player back in because he's watching, legs and whatever else. But it felt to me yesterday that, it was a bit nervy. It was a bit all over the place. Like, defensively, we looked jittery. Midfield, I thought we were very wasteful. Forward, a bit wasteful, but starved a little bit of service. And it just felt to me like, what you said it earlier, we're just going to have to suck this up, because there might be something more going on here with what he's planning in his own head, and not being too loyal, but he's going to need to be massively backed if he's going to decide to do this.
But see, that's the thing. Like, I've always tried to take, as much as we know Klopp tells loads of lies in press conferences, I take a lot of the stuff that he does come out with. I choose what I tend to believe in and what I think is bullshit. And look, everyone can do that, and obviously the bad. But I think Klopp came out and sort of made the comments that, you know, there's going to be changes or whatever afoot, and you think I'm too loyal. You know, I'm going to wreck this place. Watch it, wait and see. I do think that there's certain players there that maybe have lost the faith. He's lost the faith. And as I said, I think Fabinho was one that, whether they need to get not necessarily replace him, but to get a backup that can come in, and whether they see Bajcetic as that or not, I don't know. But I think there's definitely players there, like Henderson as the example, and he's really, really fallen off a cliff, Henderson, and I'm not surprised he didn't bring him back in. Do you know what I mean? There's too many. I think Klopp has maybe got a bit pissed off with some of the players, because Thiago done an interview. I was reading it today. I don't know when he said it, but about last season took it out of him. Do you know what I mean? Mentally, it took it out of the squad going for all them competitions, and it just psychologically they were just a bit busted. And once he started off on the back foot, then they were bollocks. They just couldn't do it. So maybe we're reading too much into these things, but I just think there are certain players in there that maybe Klopp is losing faith in. The midfield, I thought the midfield were okay. I thought Bajcetic played okay yesterday. He got a yellow card, and I think he done well after that. You know, he done really well. I know you're not saying he did.
I just think they really try it. Don't get me wrong, but I just thought they were quite wasteful on the ball at times.
Yeah, they were.
And in those games, you can't afford to be, or we don't
100%.
lose, but. You know, they're the games where balls have to stick all the time and you build up. And Liverpool did build up a bit of momentum at times in the game. But then we do something silly. And then it'd be like, oh, fucking, you know, bubble burst for 10 minutes.
Yeah, there was a few. Thiago made a few passes inside to Bajcetic and he kept slipping. There seemed to be a lot of players slipping. So I don't know if it was a footwear thing in the game or whatever. But I thought the midfield were okay. I thought the defence were brutal. I thought Milner was okay, until he got booked when that little fucking flyer Mudryk came on, and that was the death knell for him. But I loved it that he absolutely cleaned him out. That was great to see. We don't see enough of that. Again, Robbo has his moment when he's charging up the pitch and he's bustling his way through, which was reminiscent of the Man City when he done a few years ago. You know, there's been little flashes, but I don't like to pick on players. But whenever I see Joe Gomez now on the team, I'm always worried. And Gomez, Kanate, I like Kanate, I think he's a great player, but I was a bit worried about the back. But I can see the point about the small steps. We didn't concede. That's the only small step you can take out of that, because we concede too many. And even though we do concede one early on, it gets ruled out. It's where we are at the moment. You know, there's no fucking... We're not blowing anyone off the pitch. And Chelsea, that game was a big game only in name yesterday. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't two good teams that were playing each other. It was two big names playing each other, but not two good teams. And you could see it. I mean, the Wankfest when Mudryk came on, I thought he was okay. I thought he was good, quick player, bits of skill. Didn't think he'd done anything great. But he was a threat for them. And when he came on, he gave them the spark that they needed to try and go at it. But ultimately, I just thought it was lax, you know. There was little bit, you know, Cody Gakpo I thought was okay. His link-up play was okay. He's playing out of position. I didn't think Harvey Elliott was great. I didn't think Salah was great. You know, there was so many players. There's not enough players, and certainly no big players, with the exception of maybe Thiago at the moment.
Robbo
was good, but Thiago, Robbo, and that's it. You know, Kanate, is he a big player? Alisson, you know, Alisson. Few dodgy, but again, when the dodgy kicks by Alisson for me yesterday were usually down to Joe Gomez blade and giving him absolute hospital passes when he didn't want them. So it was a bit of a weird game. It was, as I say, big game in name only, not in quality or performances by either team.
Emmet, there's been a good bit of mention of Cody Gakpo in the chat there, and you know, I'll get the comment for you now. This person feels he might be a disaster of a sign and he can't see one attribute.
That's rubbish.
Well, it's someone's point of view.
I wouldn't even bother.
No. He just said no. He said Owen reckons he looks like a terrible signing. He doesn't have one attribute I'd associate with a Klopp team, right?
What signing at the moment looks good in the Liverpool team?
That's fair. So, but what I was going to say was, I'm just reading out the comment. What I was going to counter that with was, I think he's come back in, or Gakpo's come back in, and you've seen him out left on for a while, you've seen him up front for a while. It's really patching things up at the moment because of the players we're missing, like Firmino, Jota, Diaz. There's 3. You had Nunez that was out during the week, but he was in for selection this weekend, so he's only coming back. So there's a lot going on. Salah's definitely been affected by it, like Yus and others have said. No shots on target in the last 3 games for Mo Salah. So while you're trying a bit of trial and error and maybe trying to make a point with regards to who's playing and who might be showing a door in 4 or 5 months' time, the likes of Cody Gakpo and stuff like that, Nunez to a lesser extent, you have to give these players time, don't you? Because, like, don't get me wrong, if we were flying, Emma, and Cody Gakpo was missing a load of chances, you go, for fuck's sake, everyone's doing everything here possible for him, and he's just not doing it. But it's not. He's playing in a team that looks disjointed, looks nervy, low on confidence, and it's just one of those. It's just one of those things, isn't it? Because I looked at that game yesterday, Cody Gakpo. I think he does okay. You know, for where he's been asked to play, I think he looks okay. He's not a front man. He's not. He plays a false 9 at times, and he plays out left. He's not a centre forward. Simple as, right? Yeah, he's got a few decent-ish chances. He takes one of them, it's all different. But we're just going to... I keep going back to what Keith said. You just have to suck it up in terms of results, maybe performances, and definitely individual players at times.
You just said it there. He's played out left. He's played up top. He's been played all over the place. Like, you have to remember when players come in, like Gakpo now, all of a sudden that Nunez hasn't been playing or he's been out injured becomes the main focus because he's the last person that costs money. It's just ridiculous. Like, he's coming into a brand new club in a brand new country. Klopp generally keeps them out of the limelight for a while and gives them 10, 15 minutes here. He's been starting games. Not like he still only had about 2 weeks training with the team.
So like, do
you know what I mean? So he has to, like you said, it is, and we said before, it's round pegs and square holes. There's a lot of players not playing the position that they'd like to play. So it's way too early to make any kind of opinion on Gakpo. Like you said, if that turn in the box yesterday was unbelievable. If that had gone in the bottom corner, it's a whole different ballgame. Do you know what I mean? Yes, he's blazed 2 over the bar, but again, he's forcing it. He's trying too hard. I think he just needs to relax. But you can't. Anybody that's played football, when you're chopping and changing positions, not alone from one game to the next, but in the same game, it's very hard to get to the pitch of the game when you're being moved all around the place. And there's a good few. I said it yesterday. I would have taken Salah off. Salah, to me, has been doing nothing. Do you know what I mean? Gakpo's getting shots off. When was the last? Who said it there? The last time Salah had a shot on target was 3 games ago.
Yeah.
Like yesterday was deemed, and Keith said it there. It was like it was supposed to be like a big heavyweight game. And the last 2 games prior to this ended 0-0 as well. They were far, far better games of football than what yesterday was. It was billed as a big kind of boxing match between 2 heavyweights, and it turned out to be like one of these boxing matches between 2 influencers that couldn't throw a dig. Like, do you know what I mean? It was like neither one of them. It was cagey, yes, and it looked like both didn't want to lose more than wanted to win, if that makes any sense. And I thought we did all right. I thought the midfield did all right. But what it was the caginess was we did all right to a point, and then that last ball, the crucial ball, was always either left a little bit short or went wayward, or it was just, well, it was better than what we've seen. I'm not sure whether anybody agrees, and that's probably where the baby steps thing comes in. But it was better. But just that final ball, that kind of killer ball, and not even up the top of the pitch, in the midfield as well. Thiago, like 2 absolute horror balls, just about 5 yards from the 18-yard box, like could have completely cost us the game. It's just, we've spoken about tiredness, and I think now it's more of a confidence issue than an energy issue. And it's kind of like, nearly when you're kicking the ball and you're kind of not putting your foot fully through it because you're nervous, and that just seems to me what it is. And look, I know we'll probably go through the game, but we're not even we're not even making the most of the play. We're not putting the players in the positions they should be playing in, or then when they do put them in, or when we bring on a Nunez or something like that, we don't utilize what his attributes are. Do you know what I mean? But we'll talk about that.
But I think I think we're leaning heavily on not conceding. I think we're leaning more heavily on not being open. Maverick says nobody has agreed that Naby was a great player. PS was good at one season in the Bundesliga. This is not making him a great Premier League player. He's simply not suited to Premier League, let alone LFC. I don't think that was what Keith was saying. No. I think what most people agree on is that Naby Keita has all the tools to be an excellent player for Liverpool. His win rate for Liverpool is astonishing, but he's just simply not on the pitch enough, right? No, but.
Ask me bollocks.
But that's Shawnee now. Shawnee, relax. I'm only telling you that's
because he's been there for all the good times and spent a lot of them injured.
That's what people point towards. He has had good games for Liverpool. The problem with Liverpool, the problem with Naby Keita at Liverpool is he's not on the pitch enough. And even if he has a good game or two good games in a row, you know it's coming to an end fairly soon.
About Naby Keita, for fuck's sake.
Just the people in the chat.
For 5 years.
I know, it's just the people in the chat. That's all.
Anyway,
Mojo, Gakpo seems slow, no real burst of pace or flair, not seen anything special. Mojo, when I think of Cody Gakpo in a false nine, he's good at link up, but then he can wander and he can do things. He's being pinned into the centre of the pitch for Liverpool and asked to do a centre forward thing. So I'd probably give him a bit more time when players actually come back, and he has to possibly fight to get onto that left hand side for Liverpool, or indeed play as a falsish nine like a Firmino. Salah
had to play a World Cup in the middle of the season.
Yeah,
well,
but a lot of players have as well. In fairness, and he has.
Yeah,
but he has had a move as well.
This year has had a World Cup in the middle of it, and he's had a move to a new club that are in the bleeding doldrums and don't have a sniff of any creativity.
Yeah, well,
he's scapegoat.
He's come into a horrible situation, and you know, with Salah lives off the mayhem that goes on at Liverpool, the movement, the fullbacks flying, all sorts of things. It's very rigid at the moment, and it's very set in a way where we want to be more compact, and it's not suiting Salah at the minute. You know, all right, no shots in 3 games, or got shots on target, but having said that, his record speaks for itself, so it'll take a while for Salah to be dropped. I think other areas of the pitch are seen, in my opinion, by Klopp as a much more major issue, but they'll have to fix it.
I wasn't suggesting dropping him. What I was saying is maybe taking him
off. Yeah. If he's not impacting the game, absolutely. You know, no matter who he is,
he wouldn't be dropped, in fairness.
And there's an argument that he could be dropped. That's an argument for people to have. I'm just saying, you know, I think they're trying to shore up other areas of the pitch, and it's affecting Salah and others, in fairness. He plays Elliott on the left end at times, and that's a bit of a weird one. But Shawnee, like, going forward, you know, Brighton, I think, in the Cup next. League games coming. There's a little break in there somewhere as well for an international break. But do you see more of the same from Liverpool? And what I mean by that is, you want to see better performances, but do you see more of the same in personnel approach? Try to be more compact. Henderson probably doesn't get a game. Fabinho doesn't get a game. Maybe there's a question of centre half. Do you see more of the same, or do you think he might revert back to what he's trusted and what his trusted men, I suppose? And I say that loosely.
It's hard to know, Gav, but when's Van Dijk back?
Nobody knows.
No one knows, but I would hazard a guess mid-February. 3 weeks.
Then I don't see it.
It was said as a month, wasn't it, when he went? So.
Yeah, I think although Virgil has been poor by his lofty, unbelievable standards, still makes a massive difference to this team. A poor Van Dijk is still better than 80 to 85% of centre backs around the league, I reckon. And it's his presence as well, so I think it'll be big when he gets back. And I don't know, clubs seem to be sending messages. I know Trent was apparently nursing a groin injury, but I don't know, Gav. He's played 4-3-3 in the last 2 games. He's played midfielders that can run, and we looked a little bit better. I'll go back to what I said last week. I'd still like to see us try some different systems. Maybe start putting square pegs in square holes and giving these lads a chance. Like, I can understand Gakpo's not lighting the wall up, but for me, that would be an issue if there was 5 or 6 players in form, but there's probably only 1 or 2 players in form at the moment for Liverpool. I thought we looked a lot better when Darwin came on, so I think him starting will give us something. We're just missing too many players who can change games. Diaz, Jota, Bobby. You know, we're really kind of struggling, and we're hoping new lads can come in and adapt and drag us over the line. I don't know. I don't see where it changes. I can just hope that the game against Brighton next weekend, were more competitive than we were there last time. We competed yesterday, but we could have been easily beaten. I didn't think we were. I don't think we were that solid. We gave up a lot of chances. So I don't know. I'd like to see Doak probably play more minutes, if I'm being honest with you, because just wild cards change some up now. Because I'm looking
He's a
and
spark, isn't he?
Yeah, and it would look. Not that I need to be kind of Liverpool. Look, I'm going to be honest with you, right? I don't care what anyone says. Watching Liverpool, it's been a fucking chore lately. It has been, and I've seen us much worse. But just watching football has generally been a chore for me this season. Like with the World Cup, I'm burnt out from it, and it doesn't help that Liverpool haven't been great. But when I see the likes of Bajcetic and Doak in a lineup, it gives me that little bit of optimism. Darwin has done that a lot for me this year, where I've actually enjoyed so much his performances, and that's what I was trying to say to people. Like, I get a lot of my mates saying, "Oh, Darwin is brutal," and this, that, and the other. I was like, "Hold on." The fact that I'm delighted Darwin is back, and I'm hoping he's starting against Chelsea, that wouldn't be the sign of a player who is absolutely brutal. Darwin has. I think he can be a catalyst for this team. Genuinely, I do. I think he can be the catalyst for the next generation of attacking football at Liverpool. I really do. He's shown enough, and I like his mentality. It will come for him, and when it starts falling for him, once there's a system in place for him, we can bang goals. But I don't think that those players exist now as we know it. Like, and I'm not like, this could all be fucking, and I mean, like, people say it's not that easy. This could all be transformed by making the signing that just give these boys the jolt, because.
Well, like you said it there,
we're relying on a lad who made his first Premier League start on the weekend to get us through these number of games, and we've actually been doing well in terms of injuries. What's to say Thiago's not going to pick up a knock, or Kanate is not going to get another knock? Then you're starting games in Nat Phillips.
Yeah, and it's interesting because someone said there earlier, like, Mudryk gives them a spark, and he's probably running on adrenaline. Because I think Potter said before the game he's not able to play 90. He's not up to speed to play 90. But he comes on for half an hour. And he is a spark. And you're right what you're saying, Seany. Like, a signing, yeah, it'll cost a lot of money maybe, but it is that spark. It is that. And I get Doak, and I get Bajcetic, and I get all that, and I think they're two fantastic prospects. But senior players there are probably looking at them going, they're doing great, but we can't put it on them to try get us into a top four situation this season. But if Saido come in, or name a fucking midfielder, it doesn't matter. But if they come in, you go, oh, it's like when anyone signs, it's big excitement and everyone gets a buzz off it, and it just lifts the place, because Liverpool must feel like a bit of a Groundhog Day going in there every day now and doing the fucking training and doing this and going out and going to go fucking behind, and it's not working and stuff like that. Yeah, I agree with you. That spark should be there, and I think you're right. I think a signing will make it. It is hard to watch Liverpool at the moment. Absolutely, it's hard to watch Liverpool at the moment, and it's not only hard to watch them. It's probably not even the results. It's the performances, and it's the frustration you're watching. Like, my massive frustration is just doing the same thing every fucking week and hoping it'll get better.
I'll just caveat what I said there. I didn't mean that in a derogatory way against Nat Phillips. I'm just saying Nat Phillips is there, and for a large part when Nat Phillips has played for Liverpool, he's never let us down. But like what I mean is, like he probably should have been gone 2 or 3 transfer windows ago, and he's still hanging around. You know what I mean? So just kind of remnants from seasons past popping up again. Like it's hard to be optimistic when I can't see. Like people are saying there was a marked improvement. There was a marked improvement against Wolves, I thought, but it gets to Saturday and it's just fucking flat. And we've dropped. The points we've dropped in the last 2 league games would have really pushed us up United's arse and up Newcastle's arse, who've dropped points in these game weeks, and that's going to be the difference, really, because I really do think I don't think this league is that good. I really don't. I don't buy into the whole Ten Hag thing. The game was great today, but I thought Arsenal pissed all over them. I really don't think that they're way further ahead than they were last year. I genuinely don't. I just do think that the standard of the league is a little bit poorer. And I think Newcastle don't look like they're able to be a team who are able to dominate and have to break down deep. It's there for us. It's genuinely there for us. I do think this can be recovered. It can flip so quick. I think this time last year, we might have been 10 points behind City. You know, we were chasing a really good City team. These lot don't compare. Put pressure on these and they will crack. And we've known what we fucking needed now for, I'm not even going to say 22 days. I'm going to say fucking 122 days, because we knew 6 months ago what we needed and they didn't do it. And we just kind of be seeing it stuck in the rut a little bit when like that little fucking jolt could propel us so much further up the table. Because forget about Brighton and Fulham and all them, they're in purple patches and we're hanging on. But like Newcastle and United are 100% catchable, and nobody can tell.
But I'll ask you the question, and I'll ask you all the questions. Just give me a quick answer on it. Are Newcastle and Manchester United catchable with what Liverpool have right now?
No.
Keith?
Possibly, if he changes things, but he's not changing things. So he's playing this same system all the time,
and you will
get Jota back,
and you will get Jota and Diaz back and Firmino back, but it might be too late then.
Exactly, yeah, and that's why what I do. Sorry, before you move on, I do think it's catchable if we don't sign anyone, but he has to just not get rid of some of these players, but he has to trust that Ben Doe can be a spark when he's coming on the right. And if that means playing Salah centrally, if he has to keep Salah in the team, Salah's detrimental to this team at the moment on the right wing. He's fucking useless. So we need to do something, whether it's moving him inside, push Darwin to the left wing, I don't know. There has to be some change. You have to get sparks into that team somehow. And we don't have sparks in the team at the moment. And we need to get that in. And as Shawnee said a minute ago, Darwin's a spark. Right, Darwin's a spark. Ben Doak is a spark. Not to be throwing the hopes of Liverpool on Ben Doak, but a game here, a game there, 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. They need to get players in there that are going to work. People are criticising Nat Phillips as well in the chat. Nat Phillips, as Shawnee said, never really lets Liverpool down. He's at a certain level. But one thing about Nat Phillips is his confidence won't be in the gut, like Joe Gomez, for example. Do you know what I mean? So maybe it means just putting in these lads and just saying maybe the options are there, but without a new signing, and I don't know if we're going to get one of any note at this stage of the January transfer window. I think it's just a case of going with what we have. But yeah, they are catchable.
Emma, are those two teams catchable with what we have? I'm going to say I don't think they are.
I think they're catchable with what we have, but I would agree with Keith that, and we said it earlier on, Shawnee said it as well, like, I don't know what's going through his head playing Elliott on the left. Jones would have been better off starting on the left. He's played on the left. So I just feel like Keith said, he needs to start looking at, and even formation, he needs to start looking at how he's approaching games, because I honestly don't know where sticking him on the left came from. Like, I just thought it didn't work yesterday. It should never be tried again. There's other people there that could do that. And I saw somebody earlier on saying that if we had started Nunes, we would have won the game yesterday. He might not have been 100% fit. It's not as simple as that, as just throwing him in. He probably only had about 20 minutes in him anyway. but I just think he needs to start playing players in their positions, playing players in positions where they've played before and played well before. I don't think, has Elliot played on the left before? Has he tried him on the left before?
I can't remember seeing Elliot on the left side of the midfield for Liverpool.
I've seen him for periods on the left side with the midfield three, but not on the left wing.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's what I mean by left side.
And you've got Jones there, and I probably would, and I think somebody said it on, I think it might have been Matt said it yesterday on the Full-Time Reds. Jones has played there and has played well there. So just start playing players in their positions. And again, same as Keith, something that's going to ignite a game. So Doak will ignite a game. He's definitely not to be relied upon fully to start games and win games. Bajcetic, excellent. But again, like Seany said, that yesterday was his first Premier League start. I thought he's done really. I'd like to see what he'd be like in beside Fabinho in a 4-2-3-1. He's got all the legs to run around that maybe Fabinho doesn't have. So let him do all the run around for Fabinho. But I just think he needs to settle. Like the team hasn't been settled, and when you don't have a settled team, you don't have settled results. So he just needs to start playing players in their positions. But I think they are catchable. A signing 100% would help that. Players coming back, Jota and Diaz aren't due back till March time. So I think they might be too late to impact it. You probably don't even see the best out of either of them. Maybe Jota more so than Diaz. You don't see the best out of Diaz certainly until next season. But it might be a little bit too late for them to impact on it. But I still think they're catchable. Look, they both dropped points today. Newcastle dropped it this weekend. Teams ahead of us are definitely going to drop more points. The only thing is that we need to make sure that we drop less than what they do. So, and at this moment in time, that doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Teams have stopped treating Newcastle like that Newcastle, and they don't know what to do. Yeah. Newcastle are being treated like a side in the ascendancy now, and they got, and teams are putting 10 behind the ball, and they're struggling. It took a 98-minute winner for them to win last week, and people say, "Oh, that's them grinding out." I don't think that good. Bruno Guimaraes has been brilliant, and whatever. I think Eddie Howe is fucking massively overrated as a manager, and the job he's down there, and trust me, he will be the fucking force to go.
Yeah,
and Newcastle
force head to roll there.
It's a bit of a fairy tale thing at the moment, the sports washing, fair play to them. But I deal with, like, I'm not even, like, it's such small margins. I think just with a little jolt, big boys will know exactly what to do with the guys back in. And don't be fucking... Give Salah a rest, will you? Jesus Christ. The fella hasn't stopped since he's come in. Give him a dig out. He's more credit in the bank than any of them.
Yeah, I think he's been massively...
Well, that's it, yeah. A rest is what he needs.
But yeah, I don't think... I haven't seen him as a problem at all, to be honest.
Well, I
think he's a problem, but I think it's a justifiable problem. I think he is overplayed. Yeah, but I think he's...
It's completely... It's not a problem where we're going, right, what the fuck are we going to do with Mo? It's a problem where... What's anyone doing, sort of thing, So,
I think he's one that could deal with the round square peg in a round hole. I'd put him central.
So would
see if he can do one in the middle, because it just doesn't look to be impacting on the right at the moment.
No, the only thing I would say is if you've Núñez back in the team, I wouldn't. I'd put Gakpo left and I'd put Núñez to the middle and I'd leave Salah where he is.
Options.
I think when you look at Mo Salah playing there yesterday, right? He has James Milner, right? That very steady, but he doesn't do what Trent does. He doesn't go into the middle of the pitch and leave Salah out there, able to hurt people. He's so used to playing off Firmino or Mane, where they know each other inside out. He's playing with Elliot and Gakpo, that he's only played possibly 2 games with Cody Gakpo. So on one hand, you can turn around and go, but hold on, he scores all these goals. He's our main man. He should be able to take games with the scruff of the neck. Mo Salah's never taken games with the scruff of the neck for Liverpool. He's not that sort of player. He's not a player that drops in and decides I'm going central, I'm going to start dictating football games. What he does is he looks to hurt you in moments, and he's fucking brilliant at it. But we aren't giving him them moments. And all right, he hasn't had a shot on target. And okay, you could probably look and go, is he working hard enough? Is he trying his best to get in these positions? But for me as a team, when I'm looking, and I think not only Salah, I include Gakpo and maybe to a lesser extent Elliot in that, where yesterday you're looking going, yeah, they've missed some chances, and you can throw different things at them. But to me, they look starved of not even service. It was more movement around them, or just. And I'm not talking all out mayhem. I'm just talking a little bit of ingenuity by someone to break through in midfield. Just even break past somebody and go, right, now he's beyond them. Now get it onto Salah. Because someone has to be drawn to this player, and Salah can hurt you then. And that's just...
Owen Boak makes a good point. Sorry if I couldn't across you there, Gav. Owen Boak makes a good point about Darwin and Salah seem to be building a good connection and a partnership. And I don't like 4-4-2 as a formation, but is that something that you could do? Maybe the three, trying to fit a third forward into this is probably a hindrance at the moment. Do you know what I mean?
I think more the partnership there was when Núñez was down the middle. What happened is Salah go quite close into him, and people will be looking going, this Núñez fella's going over the top because he's mental, and we're just going to put over there and he's mad. And what happened is players would drop off naturally, and then Salah would get more space. But right now, teams are just going, well, Elliott's not going to run beyond you, and Gakpo certainly isn't. So what we do, we'll push up, or we might even drop 10 yards, and we'll just make sure Salah can't get on it. And if he does, we've enough players around him, because we trust a one-on-one against the other two over there, whether it be Gakpo or Elliott. And these are all issues because you're trying to be more solid, you're trying to be more compact. Somewhere has to lose in the team. And what Liverpool need to do is, Liverpool need to find a way of A, being more solid, but B, when you have it and when you win it, hurting teams. And right now, they're missing players that hurt teams usually. Diaz hurts teams. Jota most certainly does. Even Firmino's to a point where if you get it into him, he can open you up.
This year, Bobby was doing that.
And yeah, it's just one. It's a culmination of things, and you can throw it back to owners, and you can throw it back to Klopp, and you can throw. And we've had this argument loads, but at the end of the day, this is where we're at, and sucker up a little bit, but they're gonna have to find solutions. And I think the solution is you jolt it with a signing. I think it's very and it's not like it's just for the sake of it. It's something you need. Not you need it now. You need it in 6 months. You're going to need it, so do it. Simple as that. Go on, Seany.
A signing does jolt it, because as much as we can all see that we need a midfielder, so can the players. So, sign it, because everybody will say, well, we signed Gakpo, but that wasn't signed in the area where we needed to strengthen the most. I just think that signing a midfielder, so maybe not any signing, but definitely a midfielder, will kind of give the players that kind of thing. They're sending reinforcements, and that's what kind of gives them that bit of a jolt.
Seany, sorry, did I cut across you there when I was?
I did.
No,
sorry.
it's just, I think we've you can even see it in City, big thing when we talked about the start of the season was Liverpool and City taking in these two type of players that are not normally to what we have. And as fucking bonkers as this sound, Haaland scores his 25th league goal today in 19 games, but I actually think City may have sort of suffered at his expense when they kind of force it a little bit to him, and it's made them a little bit more vulnerable. They haven't been the same, and the position in the league table would suggest, he is scoring goals, but when you look at the bigger picture, City haven't been as free flowing, and I think a lot of the time, and it's frustration. And one player I know who was doing it I just noticed Henderson a lot of the time just kind of lumping it down the channel or over the top, thinking, fuck it, that some Darwin is down there somewhere. I think we've kind of forced it a little bit with Darwin Núñez, as if to say, and when he first went, we're just whipping balls into the box to him. He didn't do that at Benfica.
No, that's not what much more to his game than that.
Yeah, that's not what he did, but that's not what he did at Benfica. It wasn't a feature of his play at Benfica. And I think someone else who suffered that at the cost of that is Salah, because if you look at a lot of the goals Salah has scored through his Liverpool career, a lot of them is intricate stuff, 1-2s on the edge of the box, or getting free, or space, Bobby occupying a space that he runs into, and his finishing is just being lethal. Where I think it's a lot more forced now. We play a lot more percentage stuff with Darwin in the team, if you get what I mean. It's where they're looking for the ball over the top, and Darwin is just an outlet, and he's running channel. I think I think that's. I don't think that does really Darwin any justice. I think there's far more to his game. He's played some brilliant passes this year. We've seen it. He's got some really good assists where he's got his head up and picked it out. That's the thing. I think we've kind of suffered a little bit. And all of these problems we've talked about, lads, it all goes back to one person. And that's Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp has got to find a way to make these lads work together. Because he can't just do the thing that he's been doing for the first 19 games of this season. Because let's be honest, it hasn't fucking worked. So he needs to find solutions with what he has, not just playing the same system with different players. It's not gonna work. It's been proved. It's not gonna just click. The systematic issues in the team. When we use this personnel, try something fucking different. That's the only way it's going to change. Unless you get a player in who will allow your old system to work. But we're going to need fucking 3 or 4 to do that. That's what I was watching the game yesterday with my brother Alan. And the ball was going into Gakpo when he's up front. And he's just getting pushed off it. He says, you've got to be stronger there. Yeah, of course you do. But we're used to watching Bobby the last 4 years rolling centre defensive mids and centre backs like they weren't there. To expect
not even that, you're expecting you'd see a lot of.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, when you're judging these players, think about it. Salah is pinned to the line now for Liverpool. He's pinned to the line. He's so isolated. That's not what he's been about since he's been at Liverpool. Never. It's never what he's been about. He's not a get to the boy line. He's come inside. He's always been that way. Gakpo, people are saying, I don't know what he does. The fella doesn't know what he's doing at the moment because he's just been fucking moved around.
He doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
You know what I mean? Like, you need to kind of think about it. All these lads are trying to bed in, and it's like Klopp is just, I'll throw him there. I agree with you. I think the Harvey Elliott thing is bizarre. Like, he's a young fella, so I'm not going to dig him out. But again, like, people are saying if he does this, that, and the other, he played in the forward line. We know for sure he's not a centre mid. I don't see what he brought to us yesterday as a winger. I don't think there's room for a Harvey Elliott in a 4-3-3 Klopp Liverpool team, because if he's going to play in the front line, I don't think he has the pace. And if he's going to play in the middle, I don't think he's physical enough. So it's just a classic case of fucking square pegs, round holes. It was bizarre. Now, what Emma said may be the truth. You could be looking at someone like Darwin going, right, he's only back, and I don't want to aggravate anything that he might have had. I'm sure Klopp would have loved to put him in from the start. But players have limits as well.
Look, I'm sure, over this week and prior to and after the FA Cup game next week and as the league games go on, we're going to see what happens after we've spoken about it here. We're going to see it in front of us, in front of our own eyes over the next month, 6 weeks, before we possibly start getting players back. And, he has to find a way. And will he get a signing? I don't know, but just Jurgen Klopp himself, it's his 1,000th game as manager yesterday. It's a big fucking landmark to hit in a career. And I always see Jurgen Klopp as really young, and I'm like, how the fuck is he at 1,000 games? But Keith, I come to you. It is a huge landmark, isn't it? 1 and 2. I know we're in the shit at the moment, and yeah, it's down to him partially, but overall, he's been a fucking pleasure, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I think that's why this is haunting at the moment, you know what I mean? Because he looks a bit blatant, he looks a bit flustered. And it's not what we expect from Jurgen, even before Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Like, we all knew Jurgen Klopp at Dortmund. 1,000 games, it's over 3 teams as well. It's an impressive haul. I know, didn't Steve Bruce, wasn't he going for his 1,000th game, and he was on the threat of getting sacked by Newcastle, and he was thanking them for not sacking him and all on his 1,000th game. So, like, he was a
So it
journeyman.
could be worse.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas he maybe should have referenced Steve Bruce instead of Arsene Wenger on his 1000th game. But he's one that Jurgen Klopp's an emotional manager. He's an emotional person, and part of the ride with Jurgen Klopp is you're rowing behind him. He's a leader, and he's an emotional fella that you'll get everyone over, and that's why players will run through walls for him and things like that. And this isn't what we're seeing at the moment because it's not working for him. And I don't know if Pep Linders has too much say. I think Jurgen Klopp certainly is the type of manager who would enable and would empower his assistants. Always seems to have done that, even with Bilvac and Kravitz as well. Like, so maybe he's given Pep Linders a bit too much, but I think what we're seeing out with Jurgen Klopp now, I'm not going to judge him on this 6 months. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think Seany said this. He's enough credit in the bank. He'll be back. I faith that he'll be back, but I do believe a lot of this is on Jurgen at the moment. But look, great managers have made cock-ups before, and a really great manager will turn it around, and that's what I expect out of Klopp. But 1,000 games, brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's a great landmark to get to, and it is a tough time, and you know what, he'll come out the other side of it. I think Seany said it earlier. He trusts no one else bar him to do it, and he will come out of it. I think the thing for me is I think I'm starting to see Klopp just going, hold on, I've only a certain amount of time left here as well. I'm not wasting my fucking time here anymore. And yeah, he could possibly do something immediately about it in the window, and I'm going to ask Emmet and Seany about that now. But overall, I think he'll get it right. Because let's be honest about it, we've gone through bad times in the past. We've had some dips under Klopp. This one is a bit more elongated than others, and it's maybe taken him and others longer to work out what's wrong. Maybe they're a bit stubborn. You don't know, but I think it's fairly clear now that Klopp has seen issues where he's been on the fence maybe, and now it's a clear issue to him, and I trust him wholeheartedly to go and sort it out. But congratulations to Jurgen Klopp on 1,000 games as a club manager. Just on the last of the transfer window, because it's about 10 days to go. Emma, I'll come to you first. There's been a bit of movement around the Premier League. Well, Chelsea. Arsenal have signed Trossard. They're just Chelsea having a lovely time. But Liverpool was, it's all been dominated by this ownership stuff, and you're seeing varying stories like literally daily. You'll see variations of stories, 4 or 5 of them every single day, and then it'll change the next day because that's how things work. But signing wise has gone very, very quiet, Emma. Can you see anyone coming in? Because I've genuinely seen journalists say one day, I don't think they will, and the next it's like, they still have a chance, and it's just a bit all over the place. What do you make of this with 10 days to go? Because if he is seeing issues, Emma, right, I don't know if he thinks he may think he doesn't have the time to let this run till June and try sort it. If they have something in the pipeline, he may need to go and do it now.
Well, they definitely need to go and do it now. Yeah, and sometimes going all quiet isn't necessarily a bad thing. That's sometimes when we do our best work is when everything is quiet. Do I see? I still think we bring in somebody, but I wouldn't be overly confident on who that's gonna be or of what quality. But look, he's pulled some diamonds. He's found some diamonds in the rough before, so I'd have every confidence in them doing it again. I said before the window that we would bring in a midfielder. I'm still gonna kind of stick to my guns and think that we will see a midfielder in before the window closes. I just couldn't tell you of what quality that, and I don't think it'll be Sander Berg. I think we see one. It's plain as the nose on everybody's face now that we need somebody. You can't be pinning your hopes on Bajcetic, or the fear is that they think, oh, he's done well the last 2 games. Now we don't need one. Well, no, you definitely do still need one, because who's going to be the new Stefan Bajcetic? Do you know what I mean? If you're thinking that he's going to take over from Fabinho, well, you're going to need somebody to take over from Bajcetic in the future. So I think we bring one in. It's not going to be a marquee signing that everybody will want, but I think it'll still help the team towards the end of the season.
Seany, 10-ish days to go. The issues are there, like I said. The issues look like they've been not spotted by the management, but definitely taken more of a hard line on what they need, I suppose, when you look at selections and different things. Do you think something happens in January?
No, I don't. I think the potential sale of Liverpool may be further down the road than people think, and the big picture now is everything that's in play. Yeah, I think so. Like, you can only, I won't go off anything that journalists have said. I'll go off what Klopp says, and he basically says, yeah, I think we're done, unless something comes up. If the right player was to come available in the next 8 days, yeah, but fucking the right player has gone out the window and we took Ardamello. A lot of people bashing Sander Berg. I actually think he's a good player.
I was going to say, would you take?
I actually do. I think he's a good player. It's not a player I'd bring into a struggling Liverpool side to fix everything, that's for sure. But I do think he's a good player. And people saying, oh, he's playing the Championship. I think Sander Berg could go to another Premier League club next year and be a very good footballer.
We scouted him heavily before he went there. We were heavily linked with him.
It's not someone I'd be bringing in now to fix Liverpool. I think there's only one player really. We all know where he's going to go.
Oh, you think Caicedo in Chelsea?
Yeah, I think he's the one we should have done.
I don't even think they're going to be forced to sell him after selling Trossard. They don't have to do anything.
Don't need it. But the thing is, Chelsea will offer them that much money. I'm sure Brighton trust their scouts to
get the next one.
So you already have your man Matoma, who's taken Trossard's place. They're a brilliantly run club. But look, if it's going to be Sander Berg, you may as well sign nobody. Honestly, because
a Sander Berg type is a player that you add to the squad as a 5th, 6th choice.
Yeah, and Gav, Sander Berg type, if I'm going to sign Sander Berg now, why the fuck didn't we do it on the 4th of January?
Yeah.
Because
he's 6'5". He's a big fucker, Sander Berg. He does have his...
You can't tell me that he's the type of player that's only going to become available in the last week of the window.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't see it. I think journalists are getting horny, poo-pooing everything for Liverpool fans when they're all in the fucking dark. Every single one of them are all in the dark. I really hope a takeover is further down the line than we think, because one, I'm sick of the shy peddled on social media regarding FSG. And again, it's just another window where we're having the same conversations. It's not good enough. Talk about Klopp's 1,000 game. Well, if Klopp has 200 or 300 games left managing Liverpool, I want him to be given everything he's ever wanted, because he's worked fucking miracles so far. And I think it's not fair on him to keep working miracles. And we're here criticising him because he has to work miracles. And we're here criticising players that have ran through walls for him because Klopp has to work miracles. And that's just the way it is. Looking around, I don't know. Like, I'd be pissed off if we signed a midfielder in the next week, because it should have been done 2 weeks ago. Because if you're only signing a midfielder now,
depending on what midfielder it is. Yeah, because if you sign Caicedo or Caicedo, whatever I say Caicedo, you can say whatever you right. But if you sign Caicedo in the next 10 days, right, that to me is a forward move in midfield where you're looking to.
Still should have been done 2 weeks ago.
I get that, Seany, but you have to remember, Caicedo's a massive player for Brighton.
He's not going to be any cheaper than he was 2 weeks ago.
No, it's not about cheap. It's not about that. What for me is, if you go into a transfer window and you want Moises Caicedo, right, and you walk up to Brighton, there might be negotiations. There might be, and it might go on, right. Now listen. On top of that, Seany, they may have decided in the last 10 days, oh yeah, do you know what, we're wrong, we have to fucking sign someone.
That's bollocks.
No, I know it's bollocks. I know, Shawnee, I'm not disagreeing with you. I know it's bollocks. But what I'm saying is, if you sign Caicedo in the next 10 days, that for me is a positive move to revamp this midfield. If you go out and sign Sander Berg in the next 10 days, then that's just another fucking Arthur Mello job. And it's someone that is not going to improve your midfield, right? It's not going to be a regular in midfield. And it's just another player to say you've signed. Signing a player just for the sake of signing a player doesn't work in the next 10 days.
We say that off and Sanderberg off for a moment, right? Let's, for example, this Kone lad, he's at Gladbach or Taram at Nice, is it?
Yeah.
Right. If you sign any of them in the next 10 days, why the fuck wasn't it done 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think, and I don't know if Gav is Caicedo or a Bellingham or a Matthias Nunes, the ones that do seem to be the targets.
If you're signing in the last 10 days, where's the admittance? What are you admitting? Are you trying to save the season by bringing them in? Why wasn't it done 2 weeks ago if he's trying to save the fucking season?
We saw with Gakpo. We saw with Gakpo that they'll go out and do it.
Exactly, Keith. That's what I mean. Why isn't the same logic being applied?
Exactly,
in the
but this all goes back. But Shawnee, this all goes back to, and I said it last week, all of us working off less than scraps as to what's going on, right? Yeah, but I'm not disagreeing with you. But what I'm saying is, you said it a minute ago. This takeover could be further down the line, right? Than we think, right? That's one.
I hope it is.
You hope it is, and it could be, right? That could be one thing where they go, FSG are going, we're not fucking signing anyone. This club is being sold and we're not giving another 70 million away or whatever it might be. That could be one thing. FSG could be saying we're not spending. Even if they're staying, we're not spending because the summer, this, that, and the other, right? Jurgen Klopp could be turning around and going, which I think has changed massively in the last 10 days for me, where he's probably going, no, I'll go where I have and I have this coming back. And we know he's done it before, right? He could be doing it. So we don't know. The only thing I would say is that if we sign a player in the next 10 days, right? Yes, there has to be an admittance there, but there's probably an admittance on the part of we need this. We've got this completely wrong, and that's the admittance. And the problem is, Shawnee, if you do Simon in the next 10 days,
before the Fulham game in August.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I'm saying is, there you go. It's the pride thing as well, because if Liverpool go out and sign Caicedo, we'll all be delighted, but we'll all still turn around and go, but you needed this fucking in the summer. Why are we on, the timing of the admittance is a major issue. Do you know what I mean? And it's and that's where, for me, well, if it came in, I don't think we'll sign anyone. By the way, sorry, that's just my point of view. I don't think we will sign anyone, right? For numerous reasons, right? But if we sign, don't get me wrong, the lad off Nice or Mönchengladbach, fine. I'm okay with that, because that feels to me like he's going to come in and we're not laying the season on him, but we're getting him in place where we're going, that's the first step in a rebuild that we're doing here. And it's going to help us for this season. It's a double-edged sword. Whereas if we sign a Sander Berg, no disrespect to him, who's been linked to Liverpool for about fucking 3 years, that's just a case of, we get him for 15, throw him in there, and you see what happens. That's not forward planning. That's just another body thrown in there. And right now, we've a load of bodies that you would consider 4th, 5th, or 6th choice. That's what we're playing with.
What do you do with him then?
Don't sign anyone. Johnny's pissed off. Signed someone last week and pissed off. Yeah, because it's like, Archie, if this was a problem that only like the centre back one when Matip gets injured away to Tottenham, we had a problem, but when Matip gets injured, we had a fucking emergency. Like, we've needed a midfielder since August, and we've seen that they've accelerated plans, and they bought Diaz last year and they bought Gakpo, but they done it all, but it's the right player, and I swallowed that, okay, and I agree with it to an extent. We've seen it with Kanate, the right player, but that. Come on, that went out the window in August when we signed fucking Arthur Mello. Like, if you're gonna do it, I understand these fucking deals are complex and it's millions, but it should be done. There was a block of games there where we pick up points, we're in a fucking far better position. You can't turn around and go in the last week of the window while picking someone up because we need to save the season. We needed it in fucking December. We needed it in October, September, August. We've needed it since then.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not a spoiled thing. I'm not happy if you do sign one. I'm not happy if you don't sign one. I'm just thinking, I'm asking questions as if to say is, Why the fuck wasn't it done 2 weeks ago?
I completely get that, and like we did need one in the summer, and you know, we've said on this channel for I don't know how long we need 3 midfielders coming the summer. We've said that. If you go back and watch the shows in the summer, like no, we need a midfielder. Like, you know, couldn't wrap our heads around why we haven't got one, and I don't give a fuck what's going on with FSG or anything else. We need a midfielder. That was just common sense, like. And yes, we need one right now. The only reason Liverpool can genuinely come out and say we're not getting a midfielder in this window, the only reason, right, and it's not even a fucking reason really when you need 3, is that they are spending a fucking shitload on 2 midfielders in the summer, and I mean a fucking shitload, right, and saying we're going to do these 2 and we may do another one. And what I mean by that is 150 to 60 million quid on Bellingham and Nunez or whatever it is. That's the only way they could turn around if their owners are staying and Liverpool are going on the same path they're going on, to turn around and go, we needed one in the summer, but we ended up doing this deal where we know these 2 are coming in next summer and it's 160 million quid. Right? That's the only way you're coming out of this. But right now, I can't understand why. I'm not saying you do Bellingham now, and I'm not saying you can't do Nunez because he can't play for Liverpool for the summer anyway, even if you want him. So
I think that rule was scrapped, was it?
No, it's not.
No,
it's not. He can't play for Liverpool till the summer. But
I think he can be registered, but just can't play. Or something like that.
Yeah, because he can't line out for 3 teams in the one season.
Yeah, I thought COVID might have played into.
No, the way you can do it is if it's a 2023 season, i.e. the MLS, you can go off and play in MLS because it's a different season, even though it's in the same year. And because the seasons start at different times.
League of Ireland.
But yeah, something like that. Yeah, summer football sort of thing. But I think if we're looking at all this and we're looking at Klopp and we're looking at his demeanour and the words and the selections, I think it's hard for anyone to make the argument that Klopp does not want a midfielder in this window. I think it's very hard to make that argument. Whether you love the man or you think he fucking, he's God's gift or he can turn around and do more miracles, I think it's very hard with what's going on there, what we're seeing in front of us, the selections he's making, for Klopp to turn around and say, no, I don't want a midfielder. So then it's back to, will they release the money or are they being sold? And that's
good. We need to get someone off the books as well if we're going to bring one in.
Yes, we do. Or not register one, or we're
not going to do that.
They'll do something.
Just
don't register Salah. He's being shy. Just don't register Salah.
Yeah.
And just fucking bring in bleeding Saicedo. You'd be crap.
How many players could we get on that wage?
Go on, Emmet.
Does the emergence of Bajcetic mean that we'd be happy with 2? Because I'm going to sound self-entitled and want to be spoiled, and we have it too good. But is them spending 150 million on 2 midfielders in the summer good enough? Because I don't think 2 is enough.
No, it's not.
No, I don't agree.
I think we need 3.
No, it's 3 midfielders, and it's 100% 3 midfielders.
Yeah, but if you're saying that they're going to spunk 150 million in the summer, and that's why they're not doing it now on 2 midfielders, but we'll still be saying, well, we need a third one.
Correct, because I'll tell you why. Because right now, while he's trying to I think he's making a point, or he's playing Naby Keita, who's leaving. You'll see more of Milner, who I think will more of a chance of him leaving. I think, right? And Oxlade-Chamberlain, has he scored our last league goal away at Brentford? Right, so these players are going to leave and they're being used. So you know what I mean. You have to sign 3. You have to, because if you're making a point against Henderson, Fabinho, and others, right, you cannot let those 3 go. Keep those 3 and bring in 2. It doesn't make any sense.
No. That's I agree. I think we need 3, but like if they're going to say we're going to spend 150 million on 2. We still need more.
I think, I think, unless let's say we get owners in who aren't cash rich as some may like. I think if it's Bellingham, you're only getting 2. I think if there's a situation where we don't sign Bellingham, which I will say would be fucking disastrous.
Yeah, but you mentioned 2 players there a minute ago, right?
Yeah.
in around the 25 to 30 million quid mark. I'm sorry.
I mean, you know what? We need to get
I'm
back
sorry,
to
but
that.
if you sign a fella for 30 million now, right, your summer plans are still there, because I think if those two players are coming to Liverpool in the summer, it's already done.
We need to go back to being smart. We need to go back to being smart in the window. It's not all about like fucking signing the young fella who has the most potential on FIFA. Be clever. Look at that. City are at the pulling a lad from Argentina. I believe he's coming in next year.
Maximo Perrone, best young
Be
midfielder
clever.
in Argentina.
Wolves are chasing a lad from Brazil.
Gomez.
Like this play. Like, just be clever. Go back to being clever. Go back to doing what got us to the dance. If you can't compete with City in terms of giving out wages to these fellas, get smart. And that's the worry. That's the most worrying part, is all of that infrastructure we've had within the club is gone, or is going, or has left and is leaving. Julian Ward is going. Michael Edwards is going. That other lad, what's the other lad's name? Ian Graham, going. Where's the structure? I think that needs to be sorted first. The likes of Bellingham and all, I think that looks after itself, to be honest with you, because it's such a big fucking deal that it doesn't take a clever scout to work out what Joe Bellingham is. He's arguably one of the best midfielders in the world now, 19 years of age. It's a no-brainer. But if you're going to be picking lads out from the likes of, like your man Sucic or Musa, players like them who you can develop and make better, that are not going to fucking... It doesn't have to be, we can't afford too many, so there's no alternative. That's the thing that's grinding on me more than anything. How there wasn't. And then we can't buy Nunes because he can't play for 3 clubs, but we fucking wanted him in the summer. So that's what I'm trying to say, is we need to get all of that right first before anything else falls into place. I 100% agree with Emma. I think we need 3. And I think we need 2 now. We need 2 now. But we're definitely going to need 3 in the summer when you have Ox gone, and then when you're losing Milner. And the other part of it is you're going to be needing fucking English lads as well, because you need homegrown players.
That's why the Mason Mount link is there, and the Kieran Juice we hope.
We're being strung up there. He's never leaving Chelsea. Never.
No, I don't think so. I think that's just an agent. I think that's an agent's play.
Yeah, I really like him. I really like him, Keith. I think he's a brilliant player. Yeah. I actually think Mason Mount is like the exact player we need Curtis Jones to be.
Yes,
and will be a perfect replacement for Oxlade-Chamberlain. I think if he's available, it's fucking brilliant. I think it's a brilliant signing. I'm not worried about Gakpo and Nunes. I think they're going to be grand. I think they have all the ability in the world. People are saying Rice. Like, Rice is not being clever. Rice is not being smart. Rice is going to cost a lot of money. Just going back to getting things right. Picking players up at the right price before they explode. You know what I mean? We need to get back to doing that. That's what we did so well.
Yeah, it's nearly like a role reversal. So City are picking up these people from Brazil.
Yeah, Julian.
Bringing in these players that haven't. Exactly. And all of a sudden, we're the ones that are going after these big names.
Yeah, but we're supposedly going after these big names. But you see, the thing is, and I've said it for ages, the Jude Bellingham thing should be done as completely separate to anything else. So as far as I can say, when Liverpool go into this window, Liverpool should be able to go, we're taking him at 30, we're taking him at 30, and we're taking him at 40, and we're spending 100 million quid, and I don't give a fuck what we're doing over there with Jude Bellingham. Yeah. And that's where it's got to. And people will say, like, you know, and I've said it before, what Liverpool take in, they spend and stuff like that. But their revenue continues to rise, okay? And I think looking at that revenue as opposed to I think this year is the year we are going to see a massive profit from Liverpool Football Club. Over the years, we've seen 40 million up here, 20 million down here, paid off a bit of debt, blah, 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 blah. We spend a lot on wages. But I think that figure the other day of 701 million, was it? Somewhere around. We're not going to argue over it when it's 700 fucking million quid. But this is the fourth season, I think, where Liverpool's accounts in 2022 will come out in maybe in a couple of months, and you will see that Liverpool have made, for me, a big amount of money. A big amount of money. Now, you will have the Anfield Road end offset against that, but overall, I think Liverpool are well within their means. even as things stand, to go and do something like that.
Gundogan are going to leave City, but I guarantee City will just take your man back from Southampton. They'll just pay us, your man Lavia. That's what they'll do. That's what they'll do.
This young fella they're bringing in from Argentina will be in that team within a year. This young fella is the business.
Like, it's about being clever again, getting back to what got us to the dance, picking up your man. Man, everyone got scoffed at that fee when we signed them. Wijnaldum scoffed at the fee. Salah, what are they doing paying for him? Being smart again.
Yeah,
it's not all about a lot of people. I love Jacob Ramsey. I think he's brilliant. But the problem is, even shopping in the Premier League now is more difficult because everyone has money.
Yeah.
So there's no bargains to be had anymore.
Is there any English lads you'd look at?
Liverpool.
Yeah. Is there any English lads you would take for that homegrown? Like Jacob Ramsey is obviously getting thrown in
Conor
there.
Gallagher.
What about Dewsbury Hall at Leicester? He's getting thrown in there an awful lot. I don't mind him. I think he's already runs around.
He's not. Curtis Jones would look like him if he was playing for Leicester.
Yeah, I think the mobility, but he's another one getting linked. I seen another thing the other day about the midfield player in Europe's top 5 leagues that runs around, the most running is Joe Willock off Newcastle. What about Joe Willock? Would you just take Joe Willock?
No.
See, that's what I'm trying. The picture I'm trying to paint here is this homegrown thing is a fucking nightmare because there's not quality there, and the value was never there for English players. We all know that. And now, as Shawnee said, they're all bleeding rich as well, so they don't need to sell. So where are you going to do? You're going to have to be bringing in goalkeepers, as in second, third choice keepers, squad players. That's why Nat Phillips is probably still there just to fill a quota. Do you know what I mean? So it's really, really hard, and we have to look. Like, that doesn't. Someone said Bellingham doesn't even fucking fill the homegrown.
Not till the year after.
He's too young. Yeah.
Doesn't fill it till the year after. But Curtis Jones does from next season.
Yeah.
So
but a lot of people that have him out the gap.
From the 30th of this month.
Oh, it is from this month.
He's 20.
Oh, it's not the season. It's
he turns 21 on the 30th.
Yeah, so it's his birthday rather than the new season. Yeah, but look, it ties in nicely for the rest of the week because for the rest of the week we're going to do we're going to have a winners and losers tomorrow. I think we're going to do a transfer show on Tuesday where we can talk a bit more about Liverpool and the rest of the league because we probably try to do 2 before the thing. We probably do 1 tomorrow and then 1 the following week. Is it the following Monday? It ends at 11 o'clock, so we might have to do that. But we'll try to do 2 transfer shows before the week is out. What are you laughing at?
It might be Tuesday. Is it the 31st? I think it's the 31st it closes, is it?
I said Dewsbury Hall sounds like a lovely place for a wedding reception.
It does, actually.
It sounds like a tube station.
Yeah. It does,
or the solicitor. His first name is Kiernan. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. It's like a fucking something else suits.
But tomorrow, winners and losers. Tuesday. Now, Wednesday, we're bringing back our call-in show because we had a bleeding great time on it last week. So me, Shawnee and Keith are going to do our call-in show at 10 o'clock on Wednesday. Now, people were getting confused last week, right? You don't have to turn your camera on. You can come on just as a voice and talk to us. The link will be in the YouTube. Go to YouTube, go to our page, hit community, and you'll see the post with the link on it. Take the link, call in, and we get through a couple like we did last week. All we ask you to be is respectful. Ask your question, we'll answer you. We'll have a chat. If you're not respectful, we'll just get you off the air. Don't be an arsehole over it. Thursday we'll have viewers' voice. Friday we'll have Premier League forecast, but that'll be a cup special, won't it? We should have full-time Reds on the Saturday, and we'll be back here on the Sunday then. Keith, are you looking forward to the call-in on Wednesday? Because I'm living for it.
Yeah, it was good crack the other night, wasn't it?
It was,
fun.
Good callers.
Good fun. And as well, like, people want to come on, you know, as you said, you have to be respectful. If anyone likes the bollocks, like, you know, well, not Joe Duffy, Adrian Kennedy and fucking Chris Barry, we won't let them away with it. We cut into them as well. So you have to come on and be respectful, and we'll have a laugh. And people who come on, if you watch this show, you'll know that we take the piss a bit and we have a laugh, and we're not, you know, ultra serious and all that sort of thing. So you have to understand that. That's why, I don't know, it's a community just for our subscribers.
Yeah, so if you subscribe to the channel...
Because a lot of people are looking for the link.
Yeah, if you subscribe to the channel, you will see the community tab. You click on it and then it will say, live call in tonight, here's the link. Yeah? And then you go from there, load it up on your phone or whatever you want, and you'll be able to get in and we'll let you in. If you're waiting and waiting, don't worry about it. It's not broken. It's just that we have to click a button to let you in. You're on hold, I suppose. And like I said, ring in. This week you can talk about anything. Liverpool, transfers, owners, fucking crisps, whatever it might be. Throw it in there. But like you said, Keith, be respectful. But if you're willing to come on and have a laugh and let us and take the piss out of us, we'll take the piss out of you. That's absolutely fine. We just don't want people coming on being smart and then get answered and then they're fucking all upset. Shawnee,
they're upset, it's their fault, in my opinion.
Shawnee, you looking forward to the call in on Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm meant to be having back and forth with Mocha Bruno on Twitter.
Right.
Is
he on Twitter?
No, I'm only warning you up.
Oh, right.
He's drumming up more deadlines like Dr. Evil. So he says he doesn't actually want them to sell by his sister's birthday. He just wants $1 billion transferred in.
But who were the other callers last week? There was Bruno, there was Chris Sagoon. Yeah, it was good. So we'll try to get more than 3 on, but we'll chat away as we go along.
As you said, you don't have to have your picture or your camera on, so I think people are a bit sketchy, a bit nervous about going on and doing. Just go and ask a question.
Just log yourself in and then just turn camera off. You're absolutely fine.
I'll leave it on.
Yeah, and Kev says no weird phone noises. Okay, I don't know what that's about, but clearly there might have been weird ones last week.
He doesn't want to get match of the day.
All right, okay. Oh, yeah, that's true as well. Right, that's been the Fatback 4. Before we go, the link is in the description for our charity campaign. Breast cancer research, 12 women running the Dublin Marathon for this charity. If you want to click the link and donate, please do. Stop giving us super chats. If you want to give a super chat, don't. Just go and hit the link in the thing and send it on. I'm going to have to turn them off again, actually. But do that. And if you can't donate, that's absolutely fine. Take the link, share it around your friends, your family, your colleagues. You know how it works. And if you need any help from us in getting the word out there, get in contact. We can send you information where you can print it off and pour it all over the house or the town or village or city you live in. You can be throwing lampposts everywhere and stuff like that. By all means, you can do that. So get in contact with us if you want that. Emmet, anything else before we go?
No, I just can't wait for the artwork for Wednesday to go out.
I could show you now.
Do you show them?
Oh, will we wait till Wednesday?
Wait till Wednesday.
Okay, wait till Wednesday. It's an amazing bit of artwork as the main poster for our call-in show. You'll love it when it comes along. Keith, anything else before we go?
No, all good. Great to chat, after another blatant tough week at the office. But good to chat.
Shawnee, anything else before we go?
No, all good. Keep the faith. Roll on August. We're going to be paying Lidl next year.
Loads of money to spend. I can't wait. Loads of transfer shows.
Salah's sitting there unregistered. Well, so he's saying I was pulling the Premier League
Max pants all over the gap next August.
You feel jealous of Dicko. Dicko has something to look forward to because the Bengals got through tonight against the Bull.
Yeah, the Bengals are through. So Dicko will be delighted with that. The Giants, unfortunately, have gone out hammered last night. So that's the end of me and NFL for this season. They can fuck off until it comes back whenever. Right, that has been the Fatback 4. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.